Hello, friends. It's Mr. Albee. Welcome to another edition of Way of the Hand, the martial art that teaches handwriting. So, today we're going to be working with the letter S. Now, S is a wonderful letter. For the first thing about S is that it sounds like a snake, and it even looks like a snake. It curves around. The second thing about S is that you already had some practice making it. We've used these curves before to make our S. Do you remember? We've used these curves, and we've had some experience making these in the classroom already. It's a little tricky to write, but I have confidence that with practice, we will be able to do this. The first thing we're going to do is let's bow to each other. We always warm up. We'll pretend our friends are here. They're here in the seesaw world. So we'll bow to our friends. Okay? Bow to your teacher. Bow to your hand. Let's get our mind and our body tuned up. Relax a little. Shake out the arms. Stretch. Take deep breaths, belly breath. Okay. Shake a little more. Get our mind and our body focused. Ready for this trip? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's do both hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know about you, but I feel very relaxed and ready to try some S's. It should be stupendous, which means excellent. And we'll see you soon. Soon. Now, as I said before, we've already made S's, and so you've already had a chance to work with these two curves. Now, notice how an S curve starts with a curve that's going this way, and then the second curve switches and goes in the other direction. Two curves are just flip-flopped. So one goes this way and the other goes that way, and where they meet in the middle is the S. Okay, so if you're making uppercase, they're going to meet in the middle. Curves are going to come together right here on this belt line. And if you're making a lowercase s, the curves are going to come together right between the belt line and the foot line, right in the middle about here. It's going to curve and then switch direction and come back. Let's try making one with a marker. We're going to want to start. I like to turn my board just a little bit when I write. It helps me. So you'll notice that we're going to start for an uppercase just a little bit below the hat line, like we would with the letter F, a lowercase f. And we pull back and down. We're going to have that same type of curve, pull back. Or we also do that with a C, don't we? We pull back. I don't think it's quite as big as a C. A C goes really far over here. But it's a little curve in. So, or a little bump right here, I might say. So we're going to start here. And we're going to pull back into the middle, around and back. That's an uppercase S. Notice how they come together here. We have one curve in one direction and one curve in the other. Kind of looks like a snake, doesn't it? I lived in the desert for a while and I used to catch rattlesnakes just to move them out of the way so they wouldn't get hurt. And they looked kind of like that. I always like rattlesnakes. They're very polite. They tell you where they are and they warn you. And they give you a chance to get out of their way. Very polite snakes. They definitely make the S sound. Okay, if we make a lowercase s, we're going to start just below the belt line. And the same thing, we're going to pull back, in, down, and back. Now notice, this is a really good one, because notice that my curve comes around and switches. It switches directions, usually right under the head of the snake. So curves around, and right about the time you get to the head, you start curve, or see how it's in line with the head right here? Come around when you're about under the head, and you curve in the other direction. Round, back. All right. So let's try some together, shall we? Get my paper ready, and I'll see you in a second. Now you can always go back and write your name when you're done. Usually in class we write our name first, but how about we focus on our S's for now, and we'll write our name when we're done. I'm going to push this over a little bit so it's in the right position for me. And notice how this starts a little bit below the belt line. Now we're making lowercase s's. If we were making uppercase, we'd start up here. It's the same shape, it just starts, one starts a little higher. So here we go. We are going to pull back, we go in, around, and back. Let's try it again. And remember to use your pinch grip and rest that pencil like it's a little baby sleeping in its crib. I don't want this. This will make your hand hurt after a while. Trust me, if you get into the habit of writing like this, when you get a little older, your hand will hurt when you write. Relax it. How easy my hand can move. Yeah? I'm like this. It's too tight. My muscles are going to be strained. Okay, we're going to start right here. You ready? Pull back, in, around, and back. Hold it steady. Steady. I like making that sound. I feel like I'm Harry Potter. Here we go. Pull back, in, around, and back. Nice work. It's super. Try this one right here. Pull back, in, around, and back. That one is stupendous, which means wonderful and great. There we go. Pull back, in, around, and back. I like to move my holding hand. Starts here, I kind of move things around and readjust. Pull back, in, around, and back. Let's see how we're doing so far. Pretty good so far. I'm going to relax a little more and just try it. Pull back, in, around, and back. That one was nice. Pull back, in, around, and back. 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 All right, take a look. Check which one you think is your best S. This one just stands out to me for some reason. I'm going to choose that one. Now we're going to build our muscle memory. We're going to start with these smaller S's. Remember, in martial arts, you'll always start large and you move smaller as you build muscle memory. There are whole systems of martial arts based upon that. Small circles. Jiu-jitsu works with that. Getting your circles smaller and smaller. So we're going to get our curves smaller and smaller here. Starting right here. Pull back, in, around, and back. Now, make sure you're saying it as you do it. It will help your brain and your arm remember how to move. Pull back, in, around, and back. Now, I noticed I went a little bit above the line on this one. I think my hand, I might need to reposition a little bit. Let's try it again. Pull back, in, around, and back. pull back, in, around, and back. Ready? Ready? All right. In the dojo, you usually acknowledge when your sensei says, are you ready? There's some sort of sign, depending on the martial arts system. Some sort of sign, the teacher asks if you're ready. You go, hi, and you have to answer that. Or might say, ready, and you answer with some sort of sound or word. It's a group plan. Everybody kind of follows a group plan, just like we're doing. Pull back, in, around, and back. Pull back, in, around, and back. Pull back, in, around, and back. And I think I'm going to do all of these with you. I just really like S's. There's something about the curve of it, the flow. I really like working with the S's. So I think I'm going to finish these up rather than just pointing. But I really would like you to say it with me. Okay? Go back, in, around, and back. Go back, in, around, and back. Pull 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 back, in, around, and back. Last one. Pull back, in, around, and back. Now, thank you. I know you're using a pencil. I'm using a marker, like I said. There's that sound. The marker is just so that you can see it really clearly, because pencil is hard to see on this camera that I'm pointing up to. Now, don't be surprised if yours does not look this great when you go to do it on the belt test. This is one of the harder ones to do. And often what happens, I'm going to show you the wrong way, but don't be surprised if yours comes out this way. Oftentimes kids start to get the shape, but the size is off. So they might start like this, and it looks kind of like this, and we want to shrink it down and get it inside that space right there. Okay, listen to the word, space. Okay, so we are going to start. I like to put a little dot just to remind myself the first time, a little under the belt line, and we are going to pull back, in, around, and back. Now notice mine is this curve goes a little too far down. I think it should kind of curve a little up here more, and then I'll have more space. This curve looks bigger than that curve. It's a little squished. So I'm going to try it again. Even for me, I need to practice a little. There are times when my S's don't look perfect when I try to draw them inside these lines. Pull back, in, around, and back. Now that's much better. You notice I bumped it here and here. I didn't go under the line to the worm line, and I didn't go above the belt. And this curve starts to change to the other curve right under what I call the head of the snake, right there. Ready? Go back, in, around, and back. Let's do one more together. Pull back, in, around, and back. And I forgot to have you find your best one up here. I'm thinking my favorite is that one right there. It just, to me, it seems like the best. And I think out of this group, that may be my best right there. Try one more, just for fun. Pull back, in, around, and back. That one is even better. We got better than that. All right. Nice job. I appreciate spending time with you and learning way of the hand. We will now bow out to show some respect. Respect, there's an S in that word too. So let's show some respect to each other by bowing out. It's a way of saying goodbye. It's a way of saying that our time is now over. See you in a second. All right, it is time to end. So let us bow out. We will bow to our friends. We will bow to our teacher. We will bow to our hand. Mr. Albee saying goodbye, and I will see you next time on Way of the Hand.